catch up here. Okay, side A has just concluded on the tape recording. We are now, it is 4:29:09 again. My name is Philip Davis. I am continuing the recorded statement of Walter Ellis. Side A has ended. Mr. Ellis, are you aware that we are continuing your statement?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Okay. When they, after they denied me the 132A, and I didn't realize that the attorney had signed off on the 132A until several months later. So I ended up firing the attorney and took over the case myself.
You know, around what point in time did you fire the attorney? As far as date, time, do you recall, year?
I think it was 2003. And I went back and filed, appealed his decision, and did it in pro per, and went back before the court, and I asked for back pay and to get my job back because I was fired while on Workman Comp. They denied me that, and finally I'd been beaten down to the point where I didn't have an attorney, and they saw I wasn't going to quit altogether.
And who was they again?
Williams, the attorney for Schneider, and there was another attorney that represented, I forget his name, represented the constitutional, the insurance company. There was two attorneys, and so we met before the judge, and the judge made a statement that they offered me $17,500 just to get rid of the case. I told them I would take $25,000 in addition to what they'd already paid me. They went back and forth, and finally the judge said that she didn't believe a whole lot of the remarks that I was making, and that if I didn't take the $25,000, that I might not get nothing.
You recall the name of the judge? That
I have her name, but I can't recall her name. It was a female judge. So I think I recorded that conversation also. I'm not sure. I may have the recording, but I know I transcribed the recording of it, and I have the transcript of the recording that I'll be able to give to you. First they offered me $22,000, then they offered me $22,500, and I said no. I said, if you offer me $24,999, I'm not going to take it. $25,000 is it. So they finally settled for $25,000.
And when did the settlement take place? Or when did
that was in I think April of 2005.
And this settlement was settling the
2002, 2003, I think.
which settled which injuries again, just for the record?
Just the injury for the rib injury and the neck injury.
And what about the psych injury? You did indicate you had a
No,
psych.
they did. I never pursued that any further. Then the attorneys said that he had to have $1,800 out of the $2,500, and
Which attorney was this?
that's Robert Tiller. After one I fired.
Okay, your attorney that you dismissed.
Yeah, and so I fought that, and in 2005 I appealed that decision, tried to get him not to pay him anything, and the judge ruled against me, and I ended up had to pay him the $1,800, so I only got $23,000 out of the claim, because they held back the $1,800, and they finally gave it to the attorney. So that ended it as far as that was concerned. This was 2005, 7 years after the injury, before it was finalized. In last year, in September of 2008, I just got fired from Central Refrigerated because I had put a site up on my website complaining about them, and I filed a DOT complaint against them.
Okay, now you mentioned Central
Refrigerated
You said you were fired from?
Yeah, from them. And I had filed
So you were working, am I correct?
Yeah.
For
I was working for Central.
Central Refrigerated.
Right.
In what capacity?
As a truck driver.
As a truck driver.
And later on as an owner-operator. And because of and I was training drivers for them.
Around what time did you work for Central?
From, I think, October of 97 to when? 207, from October 207 to March of 208. Is that correct, Ellen?
Yeah.
Okay. In March 2008, they told me if I didn't take the site down, that they were going to terminate my lease on the truck that I was leasing from. I refused to take the site down. All the payments was up on the truck, everything. And the site was regarding the DOT complaint that I filed with the Utah division of the Federal Motor Safety Carrier Administration, which is DOT, and they had determined that this complaint was filed in December of 2007, and they had determined that Central was in violation of DOT. And
so who is they? You refer to they.
The DOT determined that Central was in violation of DOT regulations, and that I had a legit complaint. And there were other drivers that joined in on it, and I was posting these complaints, which are still posted on my site. And I also filed a federal. I got a right to sue letter from EEOC out of Phoenix, Arizona, and they gave me a right to sue and a retaliation, and that case is still in federal court as we speak. Mm-hmm. And I have an attorney on that case.
And who is your attorney on that case?
Avalos, Miles Avalos. He's attorney in San Bernardino. I filed the case in pro per, and then I got him to take the case later on. Now, recruiters in Schneider was aware of the website and the DOT complaint that I filed. And the reason I know they were aware because one of the drivers that Central had fired had shown a recruiter the website, and he was part of the complainants in that complaint, and they agreed to hire him based on what they had seen on the website. And that kind of surprised me.
Do you recall the name of this driver?
Yeah, the driver, what's his name now? The black guy with the dog. It's on.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you.
Again, that is Ellis on the recording. She is present in the room as well.
Okay. And so I'm thinking. So I, with that in mind, I said maybe Schneider will hire me back. So I applied for a job with them in the administration portion of their company, saying that I could, I could train drivers and can possibly resolve some of the racial issues among the drivers, because I also have a nonprofit organization that we deal in mediating
And the
complaints.
name of your nonprofit organization?
It's United Affirmative Action Development Corporation, UAAD.
Oh, when? Do you recall what year, what time did you approach Schneider again about working in?
This was after March and prior to September, between March and September of 2008 is when I applied, and I have email answers from that, and their answer back to me was almost like, no way are we going to hire you. They just said, you don't qualify for the position that you're applying for. That's basically what they said.
Do you recall who it was specifically that indicated that, you...
This came from a recruiter.
Recruiter?
I'm going to give you a copy of the email reply. Now I'm getting kind of low on funds and looking for a job, so I go online, and there's job applications with several trucking companies, and Schneider is one of them, looking for drivers. So I applied with about 10 different companies, and one came back saying that I didn't live in the area of where they were hiring. And another one came, and the only one that came back was Schneider. Said, you know, you qualify. Go ahead and if you go ahead and take your DOT physical, you can come to work for us after a 3-day orientation period. And this was in September of '08. And my wife and everybody else said, Schneider gonna hire you back. I guess maybe they are. So I went through all the process. I took the physical, and by the time I got to the orientation, the 3-day orientation, apparently somebody had found out we don't want to hire this guy. You know, I somehow slipped through the system, and they tried to flunk me out of orientation.
You mentioned they. Name specific?
One guy, I think Jack, was one of the trainers in the orientation, and he told me, you know, you've been driving truck for so long, etc., etc. He said there's no reason why you can't pass this test. I said, man, I'm 70 years old and I'm slow. I'm not as fast as these other guys, you know. And he told me I flunked, you know, more or less. This is it. I ain't put up with it no more. Then he said, well, go ahead and sit down, give you another chance.
Now, Jack, you don't recall his last name?
No. Because those guys wouldn't give you no card or anything, you know, business card. Only guy.
Did he work for Schneider?
Yeah, and Cox was his supervisor. Brent Cox was his supervisor, and Brent apparently was I believe Brent was told, you know, find some kind of way to get rid of me. And so they I had a couple other drivers that were complaining about the training procedures, and two